Well, here we are. So in this episode, I want to answer the question, what is the best entry-level endurance road bike currently on the market? And in this episode, I will present you with three options for this best entry-level endurance road bike. So hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. As I was saying, here we have three bikes that I believe are a very, very good option if you are considering buying an endurance road bike. Option number one is the giant Defy Advanced 2, and as you can see, the price ranges from $2,500 all the way to $3,300. This all depends on the size of the bike and the paint scheme of the bike that is currently available. Because there are two paint schemes to choose from. One is this beautiful red, kind of metallic red, although they call it Mars dust. And then you also have a very classical, totally blacked out carbon color paint scheme. So 2,500 all the way to 3,300 for this giant Defy Advanced 2. The second bike I have as a consideration is going to be the latest, greatest Scott Addict 50 road bike. So this is the newest version for the 2026 season, and this bike retails for $2,800. Also, you have two paint schemes to choose from. One is this classic white, I would call it, or cumulus white, and then you have the black version of the bike, which they call like a carbon gray version of the bike. Okay, so and the third version, the third option is gonna be the Canyon Endurace CF7 road bike, and specifically with this bike, the retail price is originally $2,999, but now it is discounted to $2,700, and also it comes in two paint schemes. One is this kind of gray paint scheme, and then you have also totally blacked out, they call it like a black moon paint scheme. So as you can see, very similar price ranges for these bikes, and also similar options when it comes to the paint schemes on these bikes. So okay, I think we can start with considering what kind of carbon fiber frame and the fork are you getting with each of these bikes. So let's kick off with the Canyon bike. So this carbon fiber frame and the matching fork on this bike is the lowest grade of carbon fiber that Canyon can do. This is what they call CF grade of the carbon fiber. This carbon fiber frame comes with the 6 years warranty from Canyon. Also, as you can see, there is internal cable routing. Also, we have a press fit bottom bracket on this frame, and classical 12mm through axles, both front and back. I have no special complaints about this carbon fiber frame or the fork. I will also just mention here that there are a lot of mounting points on this frame and the fork, as I see on the top tube, on the down tube. So you can definitely, use this endurance road bike as a bit of maybe light bike packing. Also, maybe worth mentioning here that these endurance road bikes, all three of them, are basically designed to be more comfortable, designed for long days in the saddle, and they usually have a much better geometry for majority of the people. So I would always advise people, if they are in the market for an endurance road bike, that they should always, if they are in the market for the road bike, they should always consider, the endurance road bike geometry, because it's just a bit more relaxed and definitely designed for longer days in the saddle. Also with this Canyon bike, when you look at the saddle and the seat post, so this is the carbon fiber seat post on this Canyon bike, and I believe that this bike, if I'm not mistaken, okay, as it is now, it doesn't come with the famous VCLS carbon fiber seat post that Canyon does. So this is a standard carbon fiber seat post from Canyon, and also the saddle is here, the Selle Royale saddle, perfectly fine saddles. I've used Selle Royale previously, and if you don't like this saddle, it's going to be very easy to replace this saddle. Now, when it comes to the handlebar and the stem, this is a very interesting kind of option here. Let me just show you a bit better images. So Canyon has included a one-piece carbon fiber handlebar and the stem. So, of course, this has been done a bit for the aerodynamic reasons, but always you have to keep in mind that negative part of this is that if you need to change anything here, so you want a different, handlebar width, stem length, it's not so easy to do it. You have to replace all this system because this is a one-piece carbon fiber handlebar and the stem. So it's going to be tricky. You will have to go to your local bike mechanic, and it's definitely going to cost much more than if you have separate pieces for the handlebar and the stem. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these one-piece carbon fiber handlebars and the stem, just because it's going to cost you much more if anything needs replacing. As you can see also here, the cables for the hydraulic disc brakes are running below the handlebar, kind of below the stem, and then into the into the carbon fiber frame. So this is a kind of a classical solution, I would say, that a bunch of other bike manufacturers is doing. So just keep in mind, in this instance, as I was saying, the one-piece handlebar and the stem, although carbon, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare if anything needs changing on this kind of handlebar and the stem system. Okay, so this is generally kind of the frame set, handlebar, stem, saddle, and the seat post of Canyon. Let's move to the Scott bike and see what are you really getting in this instance. So first thing first, this carbon fiber frame from Scott and the matching fork is what they called HMF carbon fiber frame. So again, we are not talking about the highest level of carbon fiber. This would be the HMX carbon fiber. This carbon fiber frame also press fit bottom bracket in this instance, 12mm through axles both front and the back, and all the cables are internally routed. And I will just mention here that a new design of this frame is that it has a dropped seat stays. This is compared to the previous version, and also on this version they've incorporated down tube storage. But let me show you here. This down tube storage is located, in my opinion, in a very kind of strange space. So this is almost at the level of the bottom bracket, and this little hatch that you have here, an opening for the down tube storage, I think is going to get so much mud and dirt collected here that I just find it very strange that they didn't use the classical positioning on the down tube, on the top of the down tube, to locate this down tube storage. All in, when it comes to the frame warranty, this is the 5 years warranty from Scott. Also, when it comes to the saddle and the seat post, here we have a carbon fiber seat post from Scott, their kind of in-house brand of Syncross, and also the saddle is the Syncross brand. And I will just mention here that with this seat post, you can see it here, there is also kind of a rear light on this bike. It is not included out of the box, but it has a specific, let's say, cutout in the seat post, and you can buy it from Scott, so it will be nice and flush with the seat post. And I think it's a nice addition to this bike, but again, yeah, you have to pay extra to get this rear light on this Scott. When it comes to the handlebar and the stem on this bike, I am kind of happy to report that this is a very classical aluminum handlebar, aluminum stem. This is all non-proprietary pieces, separate pieces for the handlebar and the stem, very easy to replace, very easy to upgrade, totally fine. And this is a very nice solution. I wouldn't mind that this is, aluminum pieces. It's going to be perfectly fine in my opinion. So okay, you have seen a bit some of the differences between this Scott and the Canyon bike. Moving on to the Giant bike. So what are we getting here when it comes to the carbon fiber frame and the fork? So with the Giant, this Giant Defy also carbon fiber frame and fork, not the highest level of carbon fiber that Giant can do. We also have a press fit bottom bracket, 12mm through axles both front and the back, and dropped seat stays for a bit more comfort. And I will just mention here that with Giant you are getting a lifetime warranty on their carbon fiber frames, which is absolutely excellent. And here carbon fiber seat post from Giant, of course, their diffuse carbon fiber seat post for soaking up some of the road bumps. The saddle, Giant own production, and when it comes to the handlebar and the stem, very nice classical solution, aluminum handlebar, aluminum stem, separate pieces. I mean, same kind of system as Scott would have it. So this is very, very good in my opinion, because easy to service, easy to replace the parts, or if you want to upgrade anything, nothing is proprietary here. You can also notice here that cables for the hydraulic disc brakes, hydraulic lines are running below the handlebar, below the stem, and then into the frame. So very, very classical and very nice from Giant to do that. When it comes to the Giant, there is no down tube storage. Also, when it comes to the Canyon bike, there is no down tube storage in this carbon fiber frame. But definitely the biggest difference here is that with the Giant you are getting this lifetime warranty on the carbon fiber frame. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the group set on these bikes. So all three bikes are coming with the Shimano 105 mechanical group set. So this is a 12-speed mechanical group set, absolutely fine, a proper workhorse of a group set, and I definitely have no complaints when it comes to the Shimano 105 group set. I'll just quickly run to some, specifications considering each bike. So, for example, for the Canyon, so shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano 105 mechanical. Also, the crankset is Shimano 105 mechanical, Shimano 105 crankset. Double chain rings at the front, so they didn't cut corners here. When it comes to the cassette, we have the Shimano cassette, which is again 105 level cassette, and this is 1136 cassette at the back, paired with the Shimano's 12-speed chain, and I believe this is the Shimano Dior chain. And I like in this instance that this is a huge cassette at the back, 1136, so you can spend long days in the saddle, you can attack any steep mountains, it's absolutely perfectly fine. And I believe the chain rings here on Canyon are 5034 chain rings, so all in perfectly fine. Also, when it comes to the braking system, no cutting corners. This is the Shimano 105 hydraulic disc brakes front and the back. Also 160mm braking rotors front and the back, which is excellent. This is what you need, good stopping power, good heat dissipation. And also these braking rotors, okay, nothing special in this instance. This is, Shimano's, I believe, on the RT70 level braking rotors. So full Shimano 105 mechanical group set, including the Shimano 105 hydraulic disc brakes. I'll just mention here, moving on to the Scott bike. When it comes to the group set, it is the same story. Here we have the full Shimano 105 mechanical group set, so shifters, front mech and the rear mech. Also Shimano 105 crankset, double chain rings, and again 5034 chain rings at the front, paired with the Shimano's 12-speed chain, and at the back we have the cassette, which is 1134. So this is a little bit smaller cassette, 1134. Again, perfectly fine in my opinion, nothing special to add here. Again, I wish that it's, of course, 1136 gives you a bit more range, but 1134 again is going to be perfectly fine. And of course, the rear mech, Shimano 105 12-speed mechanical. When it comes to the braking system, here you will have Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes front and the back, 160mm braking rotors front and the back, but in this instance Scott has included the Shimano's this would be the Ultegra level braking rotor. So this would be the, I think, CL700 they call it. So this is a bit more advanced braking rotor considering what you are getting on the Canyon bike. Again, it's superb that both rotors are 160mm both front and the back, so they didn't cut any corners when it comes to stopping power and heat dissipation. Now let's look at the Giant. What is the group set on Giant? So Giant has a bit of a mix of group sets. So here we have the Shimano, again, 105 mechanical group set, 12 speed. So that means shifters. That also means including the front mech and the rear mech. But when it comes to the crankset, this is not a Shimano 105 crankset. So they are using here the RS 500 crankset from Shimano. This is kind of a non-series crankset. It is a bit of a downgrade from the Shimano 105. And this crankset double chainrings, this would be 5034 chainrings. They are also using the KMC 12-speed chain, not the Shimano Dior 12-speed chain. And at the back we have the cassette, which is 1136. This is again beautiful, huge range of gears, easy to climb any steep mountains. But as you can see, there is a bit of cutting corners here with this crankset, and I still believe that this KMC 12-speed chain is not on the same level as the Shimano 12-speed chains. So there is a bit of difference here and a bit of, I would say almost cutting corners when it comes to this. Also, when we look at the braking system, yes, it is Shimano hydraulic brakes 105, both front and back. But with these braking rotors, we have 160 millimeters braking rotors, again, front and back, but the braking rotors as themselves are the Giant's own, I believe, braking rotors. I would have to double check it, although they look like some kind of Shimano braking rotors. Maybe they are even the Shimano braking rotors. I would have to double check. Let me just double check the specs to make sure. Maybe they are Shimano's braking rotors. Let me just quickly see. Where is that tech information? Yes, so it is correct. So this is the Giant MPH braking rotors. Again, a bit of cutting corners here. It is not Shimano, for example, Ultegra braking rotors or Shimano RT70. This is the Giant's own braking rotor. So you see a bit of difference in speccing out these bikes between these three manufacturers. Also, now we gotta speak about the wheel set, so the wheels and the tires. So kicking off with the Canyon, Canyon is using the DT Swiss LN Endurance wheel set. So this is a classical DT Swiss aluminium wheel set with probably DT Swiss 370 hubs. I'm expecting the total weight of this aluminium wheel set to be something around 1,900 grams. This is a tubeless ready wheel set, and the tires that Canyon is using are the Schwalbe 1 tire, and both tires are 32 millimeters both front and back. I'm totally fine with this wheel set, totally fine with 32mm tires. Just to mention here that a Canyon bike can take up to 35mm tires, so in the future, if you are upgrading the tires and you want a bit more comfortable ride, then definitely think about using, for example, 34mm tires. As I was saying, the classical DT Swiss aluminium wheel set, I'm not expecting anything special with this. There is no, aerodynamically optimized parameters on this wheel set. Very classical aluminium kind of hard working wheel set. So in my opinion, perfectly fine out of the box. Maybe in the future you would replace it with something lighter, but as it is now, I wouldn't bother. When it comes to the Scott bike, the wheels they are using are their in-house brand Syncross. Again, so these are aluminium wheel set from Syncross RP 2.0 with Syncross own sealed cartridge bearings, and I believe these wheels have a rim height of it should be like 20 or 23 millimeters. Again, total weight should be somewhere around 1,850 to 1,900 grams. So very, very similar to the DT Swiss wheels I was talking about. And also the tires on the Scott bike are Schwalbe 1 tire. But these tires are out of the box 34 millimeters. Excellent in my opinion, very good air volume. Definitely a smooth bike ride, and this bike can take all the way up to 38mm tires if you really want to go, wild and kind of wide with the tires. When it comes to the Giant bike, the wheelset on the Giant is their own in-house wheels from Giant, so Giant PR2 wheelset with the Giant own hubs, steel cartridge bearings, again very similar specs to the Syncross and DT Swiss wheels, probably approximately 1800 grams, aluminium wheelset, tubeless ready. I forgot to mention Scott wheelset also tubeless ready. And the tires on this Giant bike are the Giant Fondo tires, and these are 33 millimeters measured tire. And Giant is saying that this frame and the fork can accept all the way to 40 millimeter tires. So you see not much in it when you consider all three bikes and their respective wheel sets. All of them are aluminium, all of them tubeless ready, approximately 1800-1900 grams, so this is kind of the standard in this price range. So, in a summary, when we consider all these three bikes, so we had a Canyon Endurace CF7, we had a Scott Addict 50, and also the Giant Defy Advanced 2, what would be my advice to you? Which one of these bikes should you go for if you are in the market for the endurance road bike? Oh, one more thing to mention. The weight of these bikes, the total system weight, I am expecting all of them to be approximately 9 kilograms in some kind of size medium or medium large, so again, not much in it between these bikes. But in my opinion, if you are in the market for the endurance road bike, I would first focus on the Scott Addict 50 endurance road bike and try to get my hands on one of these. I think as a package, I think is the best offering currently on the market. And yes, the retail price is $2,800, so it is, you know, a bit more expensive than the others. But I believe if you are really considering endurance road bikes, I would start with the Scott Addict 50. If you are struggling to obtain this bike, then definitely the second choice, in my opinion, would be the Canyon Endurace CF7. I'm putting Giant at the last place just because there are a few compromises that they've done with this bike, I'm guessing, to get the price as low as possible. It is the cheapest bike here at $2,500 if, you know, certain sizes and certain paint schemes are available, but just because they did a bit of kind of cutting corners with the non-Shimano 105 crankset and also not using the Shimano's braking rotors, I'm just putting it at the third place in this comparison. So I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!